In this video, I want to show you my ultimate low-effort potato recipe. This is perfect when you're busy, maybe you're working from home, you don't have a lot of time to cook, but you want something made from whole foods that's nutritious, that's going to fill you up. This recipe is perfect for that. We're only going to be using one pan and only the oven. So simplicity and ease are the names of the game here. Now, recently here on the channel, I did a video giving you my case for why I consider potatoes to be a superfood. If you'd like to watch that, there's a link up here or down in the description below. So in this recipe, I want to show you just how powerful potatoes can be as the cornerstone of a healthy plant-based meal. Let's dive in, friend. I'm Dr. Ryan Williams, your host and the founder of Growing Pure, where I help you make vegan cooking and health fast, simple, and mind-blowingly tasty. All right, so here are my lovely potatoes. I've just scrubbed these under cold water, so they're still a little bit damp, which is actually good, because it means that the herbs and spices we're going to put on them are going to be able to stick to them. And then I've also prepared a baking tray, just with some greaseproof paper on it to help stop these potatoes sticking. You could also use a silicone mat if you have one of those, that would be fine. So first thing I'm going to do is just cut off any kind of nasty bits or sprouting bits from these potatoes. So for example, this one's got a little bit green, so we don't want to be eating that green bit. It has a higher concentration of something called solanine, which is not very good to be ingesting. So just going to cut off any nasty bits here. All right, so that is that done. I'm really excited to try these potatoes, actually. I recently just got them from a local farm shop, so I've got high hopes for them, so I'm really, really excited. Now we're going to oven bake these potatoes, and we could just put them in whole, but then it's going to take around about 70 minutes for them to cook. I want it to be faster than that, so it's actually quicker to just chop them into some sort of chunky piece shape. So I would do it something like this. So around about that size and shape I think is good. And at that size they take about 45 minutes to cook. But the good thing is that that 45 minutes is not time that you have to be in the kitchen, right? You can go off and do work, do chores, whatever you need to do, and they'll just bake in the oven. So I will now get the rest of these chopped up. So here are our potatoes done. So we're going to just arrange them, ideally in a single layer on our baking tray. This is quite a lot of potatoes. We want to try and separate them out so they're not all kind of sticking to each other. And ideally you want the skin side to be on the bottom. I think this tends to help them stop sticking as well. And as you've noticed, I've obviously not peeled these. Peeling takes too long and it removes nutrition from the skin that you wouldn't be eating otherwise. So keep the skin on, it's faster and easier. Now, 4 different things. 1, a little bit of salt. 2, a crack of black pepper. Now I've got 2 more things I want to put on here because even though this is going to be, the idea of this meal is that it's quick and simple, that doesn't mean that it can't taste great. So I've got some dried rosemary here. The flavour of fresh is better, but it takes a long time to cut up, so dried is fine for this meal. So sprinkle some of that on. And actually the flavour of dried is still quite good. I can smell it now, beautiful. The last thing that I'm going to put on here, which adds a really lovely flavour, is some dried seaweed. So this is some dried seaweed flakes that I've got. And I did a video recently all about iodine, preventing iodine deficiency. If you'd like to watch that, there is a link here or in the description below. But in that I said that seaweed is perhaps the best source of iodine and we should be trying to have seaweed in our diet on a sort of fairly regular basis. Not daily, but every now and then. And this is a great way that I like to have a bit of seaweed. So sprinkle a little bit of this on also. Look at that lovely flash of purple colour. Now all I would suggest at this point is we just want to toss these around a little bit so that all of these herbs and spices are coating each surface. Might just be easiest to use your hands actually here. Now notice, of course, we're not using any oil here. We don't need it. Potatoes will crisp up really nicely without it, and it's adding a lot of calories, a lot of empty calories, lots of just fat. Now this is looking great to me. So I have preheated my oven to about 200 degrees Celsius. You could go a little bit higher if you want, because higher is going to get that lovely caramelization and crispiness on this potatoes, but around about 200 degrees Celsius. Now, I will be adding some tender stem broccoli to this meal. And all I'm going to do is add it directly onto the top of these potatoes and just let them all cook on the same tray. But the broccoli doesn't take nearly as long as the potatoes. So these will take, at this size, around about 15 minutes, 50 minutes. But the broccoli will only take about 15. So what I'm going to do is put these in the oven for around about 35 minutes. I'm just going to turn them once during that time, probably after 20 minutes or so, just to stop them from sticking here. So 35 minutes, here we go. Oh my gosh, look how cool and crispy and beautiful these are looking already. Okay, so let's just move them around a little bit, and I can smell that fantastic rosemary and that seaweed, really adding a lot. And here I've just got my tender stem broccoli. So I'm literally just going to lay it on top. Let it cook all together. So I'm just going to get this back in the oven for 15 minutes now. And then I'm going to serve this with a little bit of hummus and some salsa. So these are just store-bought, you know, when you don't have a lot of time, you don't want to be making these yourself necessarily. So store-bought hummus, that's going to give us some lovely legumes in there. And also that kind of liquidy creaminess is just going to almost act like a sauce for these. So you can almost like dip these potatoes into it if you want. And some salsa. Whatever sauces you like would work well, but hummus and salsa will be great. So back in for 15 minutes. And here we are. Take a look at that. Super nutritious, super low effort. Perfect. So all there is left to do now is just plate this up. So let's get a few of our lovely tender stem broccoli. And then let's get a few of our gorgeous crispy potatoes. So this recipe is not, it takes a while to cook, but the amount of time that you actually have to be devoting effort to it is really, really low, which is why I like it so much. So this is something, you know, you decide an hour or so before you want your lunch or your dinner, and you start making it then. You preheat the oven, chop up the potatoes, and then add your spices, stick it in the oven, and there you go. So here I have some lovely toppings. I've got some salsa. So I'm actually going to, I think, dot a little bit of this salsa directly on top of our potatoes and broccoli. That flash of red colour, that little bit of tang, wonderful. And I've got two types of hummus here actually. A sort of classic hummus, which I might just dollop just here. And then I've also got a red pepper hummus. So let's put a little bit of that over here. Now, in fairness, this may not be the most beautiful meal you've ever seen, but that's not really what we're going for here. We're going for speed and ease. And for that, this meal is perfect. You're getting great nutrition, whole foods, and it doesn't take all day to cook it. Let's take a little look at it. Okay, I have to give this a little taste. Try one of these gorgeous crunchy potatoes. Oh, it's really tasty. It's just what I need. Make sure we get a little bit of that beautiful broccoli as well. Oven roasting just creates such great flavors and textures. So there we have it. This is my perfect go-to potato meal when I'm busy, I'm working from home, I don't have a lot of time to cook. Just throw things in the oven, you get a healthy meal. Beautiful. Now, if you would like the ingredients, they are written in the description below. Just go and have a look. You can make this yourself at home. But if you would like more ideas on how to be quick and efficient in your vegan kitchen, then I have a gift for you. It's my guide on how to get hours of your time back when you're preparing food in the kitchen. You're gonna get my top 5 time-saving hacks that will allow you to speed through your vegan cooking and get your food out on the table fast. If that would be helpful to you, please click on the link in the description below. It is all yours. Now, if you want to know the full story on why potatoes are a superfood, you can watch my video on that. You can click right here to watch that. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
How wonderful would it be?